Welcome to another amazing episode. This is Relatable with Lucy. Today we talk about transitions. Transitions are an important part of life. Mental health disorders spike during post-secondary school transition, and that is why this discussion is important to us. And to talk to us about this today is Victoria Mukunga. Victoria Mukunga is a psychosocial support worker with Rock Health Integrated Consultant. She is a trainer and mentor with Resilient Woman. She is a mental health advocate. She is also a psychologist. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah, and thank you for making the time to talk to us.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, after a long time of just chatting and planning to meet.
Yes.
Yes, so I have had a bit of your life in campus, about your experiences, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be nice for us to just talk and probably be able to help somebody out there that is really worried, or they are wondering how campus life is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for making the time to come.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so a while back when I was talking to some Form 4, Form 3 students, one of the girls in the group suggested, when I asked them, what would you want us to speak about during the next session? And she said, life in campus. And I thought this must be something that they care about, something that probably they are worried about.
Yes.
And I thought that we can talk about this.
Okay.
And so post-secondary school transition is not an easy journey. I'm sure you will tell us more about that. And going through campus is no mean feat. It's an achievement for you, because in this time and age, there's a lot of pressure. And so in your view, what are the transitional issues post-secondary school?
Okay, I think for me and for those people that we left school with at that time, the goal was to get to campus.
Yes.
And I think the main focus was to the academic part.
Yes.
They don't tell you about all these social aspects of campus life. So you're focused on getting to campus because of the academics.
Yeah.
So the rest of the social issues, you get to deal with them on your own, based on the advice you were given by the teachers, the parents. Yeah. Of course, there are people who used to come to school and talk about, in campus, you need to be self-aware, you need to be disciplined, but they don't tell you exactly what you're going to face. So the transitional issue, the first one, I guess that could be it. The fact that they don't tell you about the social aspect of campus. They don't highlight the details. They just touch on male-female relationships, especially if you're coming from an all-girls boarding school and all-boys boarding school. That's all they talk about. But so that would be, I would say that was the first challenge, getting to campus and meeting all these new people and interacting with boys and men. Yeah, that would be the first issue. But generally we were prepared for the academic part of it. Yeah.
Do you feel like the information that you got was not practical? It didn't give a practical view of, you feel that?
Definitely. Because if you tell me that campus, I think they were coming from a good place. Because now, if I were to give advice, it wouldn't be from, I wouldn't tell you the details entirely, because the decisions I made were solely mine. So I made my decision based on what I wanted for myself. So I guess for them, they didn't want to mess up our experience, our campus life experience. But it was definitely not detailed advice. Yeah.
So the focus was academic, and the missing part was the social aspect of campus. And talking about the social aspect of campus brings to mind what I've heard, and which you can verify, about sponsors in campus. How does this happen? Have you had an experience with that? What would you say about this?
Honestly, I think it depends with what you want and what you're looking for, because I think the money issues, first year, second year, unless you've really become aware of the other things that we need to do outside
Yeah.
campus.
Yeah.
First year, second year, we were not that much. Personally, I was not that much aware of big things that you can do with a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an issue. You're still trying to deal with guys your age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So dealing with men, older men, it's not something that comes to mind. In class, you're still trying to figure out these young relationships and all that. So sponsors and all that comes maybe for the year when you're trying to think about life after campus, trying to think about where to get money. You want to have this experience of what other girls are experiencing, but generally, I don't think it was an issue when we were starting out.
Yeah.
Maybe as we got older, that's when you realize, oh, there's life outside campus that can be glamorous and that can be funded by someone else other than the little pocket money I'm getting from my parents. Yes.
So does this come at a point where people probably are uncertain about going out? They are fears, they're anxious about getting out of campus?
I think it comes from too much exposure. So if you're exposed to, you remember you're from a setting where you were totally locked up, boarding school, the focus was entirely academics. Then now there's this whole new life where you can experience all these things and no one gets to question you on what you're doing. So I guess it's when you realize all these things require more money and you're not working
and you don't have the money.
You don't have the money, the pocket money is not enough. I think that's when other options start creeping in. And in school, no one gets to follow up the students. So unless they really want to take part in activities that are happening in school, they can engage in other things that are outside school. After all, no one is going to follow them up. So that could be the reason why people get to the exposure to other activities outside school triggers the need for more money, need for a sponsor and all that. Yeah.
Do you have cases where we have female sponsors where young boys are going to older women during this period of time and in campus?
Yes, of course we've heard about them, but personally I've not heard of a case of someone that I know, but we hear about them. And even if not from our own university, you can hear about it from social media, from the way people talk, from your friends telling you about someone they know. So not necessarily from my circle, but I've heard of it from other people. Yeah.
What do you think is the missing link? What do you think is, what needs to be done by who, to be able to help this situation? Because, I mean, it's probably an issue of how can this transition be managed in a better way, or the best way to manage the transition.
I think, for instance, what you're doing is a good step, because if students are made aware of life in campus and not just told about the academics. Yes, you'll go to campus, take a good course, but you're not told about how you interact with other people, how to be self-aware, how to carry yourself, how to engage yourself in activities that will make you a better person.
Yeah.
That part needs to be highlighted more as compared to just go to campus and study what the course of your dreams. So I guess this is the first step, talking about this, talking about the real experiences in campus, talking about empowering students to be more self-aware. Remember how we usually talk about how important self-awareness is?
Yes.
If self-awareness is taught from high school level, then there's no way we are going to have peer pressure. Because most of these things are just peer pressure. You come to campus, you see all these people who have different lifestyles. They get to experience all these things that you've never known existed.
Yeah.
But if you're self-aware, you're going to know, I can't do this because I'm not comfortable with this. And I can try this because I want to learn how to do a certain skill, how to be better at this. So I think the most important thing is teaching students to be self-aware
Yeah.
from high school, and then giving them the real experiences of campus life. So when they come in, they know they have the choice, but they're so
Yeah.
empowered that they get to pick the right choices for themselves. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And for you, because I mean, from my interaction with you, I
Yeah.
feel like you manage your transition very well. I mean, your life in campus, what are those specific things that you did, and how, I mean, what is it that helped you? Is it that you went through a program? Is it from your parents? What prepared you for this?
There was no program involved. Yes, I acknowledge the fact that we had enough mentors in high school, like so many mentors came to school. But when you get to campus, you realize personal decision is key. So, and I think I was content. I felt I didn't feel the need for certain things because
Yeah.
the campus life in itself was enough for me. There was so much to do. We had radio, we had clubs, all these social clubs. There was so much to be done. The academic part is also a lot if you're really keen on it. So I had so much to do that there was no time for any other extra things that are going to be destructive. So I think for me, the advice works, but then the personal decision, and I was intentional about how I wanted my campus life to be. So it's not, okay, it may sound too good to be true, but it wasn't something that bothered me at all. It wasn't something that I had to struggle to decide that I'm torn between choosing this path or choosing this path. And I guess the way we were all set on coming to campus because of academics.
Yeah.
So when you get there, you're too excited about the need for this degree and this title that you've been longing or working towards, that there's nothing else that can distract you. So yeah.
Wow. So there's a need for preparedness and self-awareness and mentorship. Please stay tuned for the next episode where we will continue the discussion with Victoria on a transition to campus. Stay tuned in.